Philippe II, known as Auguste, August 21, 1165 in Paris, July 14, 1223 in Mantes, was the seventh king of the Capetian dynasty and the first monarch to be attributed the title of King of France. He is the heir son of Louis VII and Adèle de Champagne. The nickname Auguste was given to him by the monk Rigaud, after Philip II added to the royal domain in July 1185 the lordships of Artois, Valois, Amiens, and a good part of Vermandois, and also because he was born in the month of August, in direct reference to Roman emperors. Philippe Auguste is the first king to have his acts officially carried out from 1204 onwards by Rex Franci, King of France, instead of Rex Francorum, King of the Franks. Louis VII, his father, overwhelmed by illness, left him in power on June 28, 1180. He was then 15 years old. Philippe Auguste and Richard the Lionheart leave together for the Third Crusade with the great barons of France. Philippe embarks at the end of summer 1190, from Genoa, and Richard, from Marseille. But they are surprised by the winter storms in the Mediterranean and have to wait several months in Sicily, in Messina. They are both victims of disease, causing in particular a high fever. They lose hair and nails. Philippe Auguste also loses the use of one eye. The crusade has only just begun, yet Philippe decides to return to France. Richard the Lionheart continues the crusade after Philip's departure. He takes over the main Palestinian ports, up to Jaffa, and restores the Latin kingdom of Jerusalem. He finally negotiated a 5-year truce with Saladin and sailed again in the month of October 1192. The winter storms surprise him again. Stranded in Corfu, he is captured by the Duke of Austria Leopold V, who puts him back into the hands of the Germanic Emperor Henry VI, his enemy. Philippe takes advantage of the situation to negotiate with John Lackland, Richard's younger brother, who has taken control of the Anglo-Norman kingdom. Hoping to retrieve the English crown thanks to the support of Philippe, he pays tribute in 1193. Then, while Philippe Auguste attacked the possessions of the Plantagenet, John Lackland yielded to the King of France the east of Normandy, the Norman Vexin, Louvaudril, Verneuil, and Evreux, for 1,000 silver marks in January 1194. At the death of Richard the Lionheart at the siege of Calais on April 6, 1199, and facing John Lackland, the young Arthur of Brittany, aged 12 years, son of John's older brother Geoffrey II de Bretagne, died in 1186, is a serious suitor. Philippe Auguste takes advantage of this rivalry and, as he had taken a position for John against Richard, he takes this time a position for Arthur against Jean Lackland. He receives the tribute from Duke Arthur I of Brittany for the French possessions of the Plantagenets in spring 1199. This allows him to negotiate from a position of strength with John Lackland in May 1200, all favorable to Philippe Auguste. The treaty is sealed by the marriage between Prince Louis of France, future Louis VIII, and Blanche de Castile, niece of John Lackland. The incredible success of Philippe Auguste soon brings his rivals to unite. The opposition crystallizes in 1214 at Bouvines. There we naturally count John Lackland and Otto of Brunswick. Renaud de Dammartin is the real architect of the coalition against Philippe. He who has nothing to lose goes to Frankfurt to find support from the Emperor Otto, then to England. The Battle of Bouvines takes place on Sunday, July 27, 1214 near Bouvines, in the county of Flanders in France, opposes the French royal troops of Philippe Auguste, reinforced by some communal militias, to a coalition made up of Flemish princes and lords, Germans and French reinforced by English contingents, led by the Holy Roman Emperor Otto IV. The victory is won by the King of France and marks the beginning of the decline of seigneurial predominance. John Lackland, who was jointly attacking from Saintonge, must accept the Treaty of Chinon and withdraw. On June 15, 1215, the English barons imposed the Great Charter on him. Forced to flee, Emperor Otto IV is deposed and replaced by Frederick I. Philippe brings back Ferrand from Portugal and Renaud de Dammartin, both of whom were taken prisoners during the Battle of Bouvines. Triggered in 1208, the crusade against the Albigenses turned into a confrontation between Simon IV de Montfort, who led the crusade composed of northern barons, and Raymond VI, Count of Toulouse, who secretly supported the heretics. Moreover, Pierre II of Aragon has views on the region and encourages the camp of the Count of Toulouse before being himself defeated and killed by Simon de Montfort at the Battle of Muret in 1213. Philippe Auguste died on July 14, 1223, in Mantes, at the age of 57. In some of the regions conquered during the reign of Philippe, Anjou, Maine, Touraine, Poitou, Saintonge, the king entrusts administrative functions to seneschals who are also often suppressed, notably in Normandy from annexation, to be replaced by bailiffs whose title is not hereditary. The bailiffs are assisted by the provosts, whose role has been somewhat unclear until now. These, on the other hand, are attached to a specific area, where they judge current affairs and draw up local accounts. Thanks to his great victory of Bouvines, Philippe Auguste completes his reign in an important popular enthusiasm. In this context, the royal ideology of the state is progressing. Unlike his predecessors, Philip II did not associate his son with the throne. At his death on July 14, 1223, the transition of the crown to Louis VIII spontaneously became hereditary. His tomb, of remarkable wealth, will be destroyed, as well as those of Louis VIII and St. Louis, under the English occupation between 1420 and 1435. Welcome to the History Channel 26. Leave a comment if a particular object catches your eye. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss our upcoming videos. Louis VIII, the Lion, born on September 5, 1187 in Paris and died on November 8, 1226 at Montpensier in Auvergne, was King of France from 1223 to 1226, eighth of the so-called direct Capetian dynasty. He was the son of King Philip II, known as Philippe Auguste and Isabelle de Hainaut. Philippe II died on July 14, 1223. Louis is crowned on August 6, 1223. He is the first Capetian king not to have been crowned during his father's lifetime. Prince Louis marries on May 23, 1200 Blanche de Castile, on the land of King John I of England, whose niece is Blanche. They have 9 recognized children, including a first son Philippe de France, who dies at the age of 8 years, and Louis IX, which follows. Nicknamed the Lion, Prince Louis wins over Jean Sans Terre, King of England, the victory of La Roche-aux-Moines in 1214. At war with King John, the English barons promised to Prince Louis to give him the crown of England, being also the husband of Blanche de Castile, granddaughter of King Henry II of England and niece of King John. He arrives in London on June 2, 1216, is proclaimed King of England without being crowned, and takes quickly control of the south of the country. He takes advantage of the minority of Henry III, the son of King John and Isabella of Angoulême, to seize English possessions in France. Louis VIII takes over most of the lands of Aquitaine, the cities of Poitou, Saintonge, Périgord, Angoumois, and part of Bordelais. In 1218, Amaury VI de Montfort, son of Simon V de Montfort, inherits the Languedoc in full revolt. Unable to keep his fief, he prefers to leave the south, agreeing to cede his rights on the Languedoc to the King of France. In 1225, Louis VIII is chosen to lead a new expedition against Raymond VII, Count of Toulouse, suspected by the Church of harboring Cathars on his lands. Louis VIII, suffering from dysentery, dies at the castle of Montpensier in November 1226. He reigned only 3 years on the Kingdom of France.